Chapter 30. Coming out of Zero Space, now. Zero Space is dead white, normal space is deep black, dotted with stars that burn bright white and pale red and cold blue, but this space was not that. Jeez, amazing! You've never been close to a nebula, I observed, but the truth was, even I was awed. The nebula was a dust cloud so close to a dozen star systems the size of Earth's could get lost in with room to spare. It was a weird, twisted cloud, a cloud of purple and orange to envelop brilliant stars. It's so beautiful. Yes, and if the star source out here somewhere would be really beautiful. I glanced back at Chapman, he slightly trusted and gagged and glared at me. Right now, all your ships are here and transparently attached to us. They'll be honest in a very short time. I'm conducting a sensor suite looking for Andalite vessels, but it's hard with the nebula around us, so it does confuse the sensors. Are we a long way from Earth? Yes, seen by standards of space, we're hundreds of light years away. She stared out the nebula, she bit her lip below her teeth and looked my arm away from my waist. She stared at Nebula, she bit her lip below her teeth and took her arm away from my waist. Humans like to use touch. It's odd at first, but I've gotten used to it. I'm going to try and call the Star Sword. I made a thought-speaking link in my communication systems. Alien ship in a sector, alien ship in a sector. This is Jahar. I was about to wait, but shocked when I heard the voice of Captain Fayorn. Jahar, Alron, is that you? We're under attack. Say again, under attack, can you? Star Sword, I lost you. Star Sword, I checked the display, made a location fix, and I punched in a new heading. Lauren, get down on the ground. Back in Savoca, we're going to maximum burn. She ran to herself down on the ground just as I punched and burned, but acceleration is barely noticeable. The Jahar had amazingly good compensators, even though there was no feeling of acceleration, ship blew through space. What's going on? I don't know, but I'm powering up all weapons. A maximum burn took less than 10 minutes for a spot the Great Dome. She came under my view and She came on my view screen at high magnification, looking like a glowing steel stick with bright half ball on one end. Her engines are off and spaced around a dozen or more of our fighters. What caught my attention were asteroids on rough, dark, tumbling rocks. The star starts to be in the middle of an asteroid field, only that was unlikely. Asteroids orbited stars, and the star hosts up to hold the field in its gravity. It moved, Lawrence said. What are you talking about, I demanded? It sounded rude because I was beach trying to figure out what's going on. Didn't think a human be very helpful, really. The rocks, the asteroids, look at them. I turned one stalk and I had to watch them in a flash I focused. They're moving. They're under power. As we stared, transfixed on the asteroid seemed to sprout a tail, a plume of hot plasma. The asteroid moved. It changed course shot toward one of Star Sword's fighters. The fire fired a full-power shredder at it. The green beam zapped through the vacuum. The asteroid glowed with a shredder blast, hitting it up increased speed. The fire turned to run, but I amazed the asteroid accelerated and stand still, twisting and turning, and then, Elfangor, look! It's impossible! A pillar of living rock extended from the asteroid like a primitive arm. It struck the fire as all type of arrows that was squeezed from the ship, and the rock simply grew over the doomed ship. This grew swift, unstoppable, and in seconds the entire fire is covered. It eaten a fighter. Chapter 34. What are those things, Lord Astor? I don't know, I've never seen or heard anything like them. I mean, that's impossible. They're like living asteroids. I think it's exactly what they are, but that's impossible. I watched in horror. A second fire was caught and swallowed up. The Star Shores are shooting now. Dome ship sure can blow chunks off a plant. They'll wipe these things out. I never seen a Star Sword made sure it's fire before. It was awesome. A green's a beam light. It looked as thick as tree trunks to black through space had one of the asteroid's power to punch a hole through a moon. The asteroid glowed brightly, but it didn't explode. It didn't disintegrate. It didn't melt. It turned. It's going after the Star Sword. Dozens of them seem to be soaring into space on a Star Sword. Close by, not 300 miles away, I saw another fire twisting and turn, trying to lose them. Go to zero space, yelled. Where those things are, they can't have zero space flight. I guess the fire pilot thought the same thing as I was engines go Bryzy powered up a zero space jump, but suddenly 3 more asteroids closed in and they blocked its path. A massive arm of rock shot out and punched right for the fighter. The pilot was blown clear on empty space. He could his hooves for a few seconds and then stopped moving. Oh god, no. No! The Star Sword fired all shards, lining up the black laser beams of light, but it didn't work. It seemed to draw more of them. It's just attracting them. The engines and weapons, they attract them. You're right, I didn't know what shocked me more. The asteroids are drawn to energy. Discharge those, a human girl will figure it out. A bunch of communications. Star Sword, this is Jahar. The asteroids attracted by energy discharge are drawing them towards you. I don't know if the message got through, but just then I realized a whole new set of problems. Behind us, 2 York ships materialized entering real space, but they're no more than 5,000 miles away. A pool ship like a fat, awkward, three-legged spire since it appeared in launching bug fires. And beside that, something I'd never seen before. It was jet black, so it was barely visible. It was smaller than a pool ship, but bigger than a bug fire. It seemed to have a bridge like a hard-edged diamond attached by a long triangular shaft of twin engines. The engines are strange shaped like blades of a 2-headed axe. The entire thing like an ancient weapon, a battle axe, or some flying harbinger, a blade ship. Don't ask me how I knew that. I don't believe in psychic things like some Andalites do, but still I knew who that was in the blade ship. I felt cold hatred. Hatred of that ship. Hatred of the abomination it creates. He's still alive, I whispered. This time, no mercy. Space is filling up quickly. York ships, Andalite ships, deadly impossible asteroids. The Yorks were thousands of miles behind me. I was thousands of miles from the Andalite fleet. If I was lucky, Yorks would not be able to see a dome ship in their sensors yet. And they would not even be looking for murderous asteroids. The computer blinked showed incoming communications, visuals, as well as thoughts. The image that appeared was an Andalite. Familiar face of Alron's similar Koras, but it's shown an evil I can't describe. Ah, Elfangor, I believe, said Visitor 7 is. So the time matrix, I hope. I'm here to take it from you. I didn't switch my own image for him to see it. Think fast. I grabbed a handled shredder and carefully set for lowest power. Lauren, listen, some visitor doesn't know you aren't still a controller. Take this, stand behind me where I can see you when I switch the screen. You refuse to insult and fire this, but miss me, okay? Got it. I switched on the screen. So, Sub-Visitor 7, you survived. Too bad. I did survive, but you almost had me there. You really did. And by the way, it's no longer Sub-Visitor 7. I'm the first year to catch an Andalite body. I've already delivered more intelligence on fleet deployments than a century of spying could have yielded. So no, you're addressing Visitor 32. You're still a slug as far as I'm concerned. You want a time matrix? Come and take it from me. I promise you. She fired a shot in low power, jerked suddenly slumped forward, turned over the screen as I fell. I jumped up. You want this back? No, keep it, you did well. Perfect timing. The visitor will think you're still a controller. He thinks you stunned me. I'm killing all power. Wait for a sub-visitor to come to us. Is this going to work? If it doesn't, neither of us are going to Yosemite, I said. You picked a great time to learn how to joke, Elfangor. We didn't wait long. The blade ship fires engines and leaped forward. It ate up a few thousand miles in seconds. Come to me, visitor, whatever your number is now. Come to me, I muttered. I targeted the shards on the belly of the blade ship. It was perfectly calm. Despite the battle, I knew it was raging around Star Sword. Despite the approach, one shot was all I needed. I had to wait till it was practically on me and then whap! Ah! Chapman! He flew his legs and kicked Lauren's feet. She went down hard, but Shredder skidded across the floor. The human was slower than I am, but he was closer. His bound hands closed on sure seconds where I could reach him. He fired, and I dodged. The blade ship closed in. Ah! A glancing hit. The beam struck my left arm and left foreleg. Pain shot me like shards of glass. My left arm was numb as stone. My front leg was useless. I could stand, but I could barely move. How do you like it, Andalite? Chapman Crozy rose to the same position. He leveled Shredder at me. Oh, I've so had it with you, Lauren yelled. Still lying on deck, she drew her legs up and kicked upward. Both of her artificial hooves hit Chapman right where his legs joined his body. Ugh! He gasped. He grabbed himself, both hands still clutching his Shredder. I'll leave the kick was painful for him. Oh, I think she kicked him in the nuts, actually. Oof, this, Lauren said. She jumped off the deck and delivered an impossibly high kick to cause Chapman under the chin. His head snapped back and Lauren snatched a Shredder from him. You know, Chapman, you're really making the human race look bad. You're seriously embarrassing me. Whose side are you on, Chapman grade? Not yours, Lauren said. She fired a Shredder and Chapman jerked and went limp. Boom. The Jahar shook from a slow impact. The blade ship had latched on. They were boarding us. As I watched half paralyzed, the hatch began to open. Chapter 32. The hatch opened. Lauren, the Shredder. Shoot. The hatch door flew open with a boom. Lauren fired. Harbinger Warrior fell back and arm appeared, reaching past the collapsed control and aiming a Dracon beam and Andalite arm. The Dragon beam fired. The beam shot missed me, but Lauren hit Lauren and knocked her over, already unconscious, into me. With only 3 good legs, I fell hard on deck with my numb arm. Lauren lay on top of me. The evil York creature still in Lauren's body pushed past Harbinger. I struggled desperately to get out from under Lauren. He was aboard the Jahar. I had one chance, and then let the York kill me. I swung my tail, aiming blind. The visitor jerked back reflexively, wasn't aiming at him. Hit a console, great pleasure I heard. The Jahar fired her Shredder, point blank range to the belly of a blade ship. No, the visitor screamed. Boom! The blade ship tore loose of the Jahar. The hatch was open to space. Air blew from the ship, sending into a spin. Everything that wasn't bolted down flew toward the open hatch. The unconscious Harbinger was someone blown into space. Chapman's unconscious body slipped toward the opening. The visitor was knocked down, but as he lay there, the visitor aimed his Dragon beam at me. You're a real source of agitation, Elfangor. Now die! In despair, I whipped my tail. It did something hard just as the York squeezed the trigger. And the Dragon beam last missed me. As gasped for air, the oxygen was gone. The Jahar spinning out of control through space. The visitor sang us the walls as we spun wildly. Yeah, they should have shot him in the face, but here we are. The visitor sang us the walls as he spun wildly. Lauren's body rolled away toward the hatch, but now the automatic safety device, the ship, were slowly closing the door. We spun through the window. I saw a flash of alien fires half covered with living rock, and your quickfire is now suffering the same fate. I saw in a wild spinning flash the blade ship one shot away. And then coming up toward us was an asteroid. It lashed on a poor dying Jahar, and a wild, crazy pitching flash I was tossed helplessly. I saw a window going dark, half covered now by living rock. The asteroid had us. I slammed violently, but acceleration, the asteroid moved away from the battle, holding Jahar in its death grip. Jahar's compensators were off now. The ship was dead, half swimming for lack of air. I staggered up, finding an insane force of acceleration. Air. We needed air. The emergency environmental power unit should come on, but the ship's power was dead, drained by heat-eating asteroids. Air. My lungs screamed, my heart hammered madly, circling useless blood. The manual emergency tanks I had to... But maybe it didn't matter. Maybe it was pointless to fight. Alberon was gone. Alberon was worse than gone. Terrible things. Terrible sights. Let it all in. It was fine without air. Fine to suck with your lungs and feel nothing. I was sinking down, down, down. No need to worry. No anything to be afraid of. Let it end, Elfangor. Just let it end. Part 3. An alien dies. Very unspecific as to what kind of alien. I'm betting it's a human alien. Chapter 33. Air. My lungs burned, my heart's pounding desperately, my mind was shutting down from lack of oxygen. The fade out, dreadful weariness took the place of horror. The artificial gravity is gone. I floated weightless to the floor and walls, and ceiling all spun wildly around me. Why should I care? Why should I resist? Why not just let it end here as a Jahar fell into a monstrous black hole? My life was a disaster. I'd failed in so many ways. Failed to save Auron being trapped forever in attacks and morph. Failed to stop the Yeerk called Visitor 32 for stealing the body of my Prince Auron Seymour Korass. Failed to defeat the surprise attack of living asteroids. Failed to even protect the humans I was supposed to take care of. And worst of all, I failed to deliver the time measures to my people. The time measures had power beyond imagination. Airless, my head swum as disconnected thoughts and images. Airless, and a ship that spun powerless and dead through space. Through a so clear wind, I saw a huge swirl of dust and debris and marked the edges of the black hole. But in the center of that swirl, nothing that I could see. It was a collapsed star so dense that its gravity trapped light itself. Yes, Elvingor, my dying said, just let it end. I saw the abomination, Visitor 32, the only Andalite control in the galaxy, the only Yeerk ever to gain control of an Andalite body. He was swimming from lack of oxygen. He was slain by a spinning floor and knocked weightless to the ceiling, four legs flailing, arms and tail tangled around. Out on the protrusion of the control panel, the ship swirled with all gravity gone, felt something large and soft bump into me. It was Lauren, the female human, unconscious. Never be conscious again if I didn't reach the emergency air supply. And it came to me a moment of clarity. I didn't have a choice. When Auron and utter despair and wanted to die, I stopped him. Because without life there is no despair, but without life there can also never be hope. Poignant to that. I had no right to erase Lauren and told her how bad I felt. I searched my crazy swirling nightmare world. All my eyes found a panel I was looking for. I focused on my stock eyes, striving blearily to keep them focused. But it was hard to know up from down, left from right with the world spinning, my poor oxygen-deprived brain all but extinguished. I had to reach that panel. I had one chance only, too far gone to try a second time. I even kicked and flew weightless through a cabin. Missed. I grabbed. Missed. I floated helplessly away. But suddenly a hand reached up and shoved me back to her panel. A human hand. Impossible. Lauren regained consciousness in a near vacuum of air, with temperatures already dropping toward zero. She regained consciousness and seen what I was trying to do. She ran me back toward the panel. This time I reached and grabbed. I ripped the panel open and turned off to a stiff mechanical release knob. You can't see air. You can't really feel it on your skin most of the time. When it's gone, you notice. My lungs drew nothing in, but the gasp again. This time I felt the faintest wisp of something. I sucked in. A sharp pain in my collapsed lungs filled by the air. Air! I drew a deep breath after deep breath, each breath hurting, but hurting less. It was not pain I minded. I clung to the panel with my left hand, my hose floating free, my tail drifting behind me, and for a while I just breathed and thanked the entire universe for letting me feel air in my lungs again. Are you alright? Asked Lauren. She smiled a human smile, characteristic of turning her corners of her mouth. A weak, shaky one, but I was glad to see it. I thought we were done for, she said. Done for? Oh yes, dead. We almost were, but you humans don't give up easily, do you? Neither do you Andalite, she said. What now? I faced a situation, visitor people just regained conscious, our human Chapman is still unconscious, drifting lazy against a far wall like a ragdoll. We have air but no power, the living asteroid drained the ship of power. We're falling toward a black hole. Well, that's not good. We fall into a black hole crushed down to the size of a carbon atom. The ship always crushed to the size of a single atom. Yeah, we learned about black holes in school. I was surprised that humans knew about such things. There is only one way out, Andalite. Visitor 32, very sound thoughts me fill my head with rage. He sounded exactly like Auron, but I knew his mind was a prisoner's own head now. He could watch, listen, feel, but not control. The Yeerk and his brain control him now. The Yeerk moved his arms and legs and tail. The Yeerk decided when he each breath to be drawn. He aimed his eyes and formed his thought speech. I turned myself to face him. I no idea which of us would win a tail fight. He had Auron's experience, but I'd seen I was faster than he was. Don't be a fool, Elvingor. What's came from you and me slashing each other up with these excellent Andalite tales? You have a better idea because I can think of a lot of reasons to go tail to tail with you. He laughed. You blame me for your failings. I'm not the one who left my friend back in attacks at home or trapped in a vile worm body. I'm not the one who just paid his prince doors and let 10,000 Yeerks escape. A bit is to be itself caused poor old Auron's downfall. I wanted to shut up his words of his truth. It was hard to ignore, and pointless as well. You have something to say, Yeerk. Yes, we're falling into a black hole in a dead ship, but we have a way out. The time matrix. I stared at my main eyes, and stock eyes saw Lauren look up at me with fresh hope. In case you haven't noticed, visitor, the time matrix is trapped on the outside of the ship. The outside. In fact, it's probably drifting free, held in place by energy ropes, those are gone. Gravity. There should be just enough traction in your ship and the time matrix to keep it close. I did familiar calculations. He was right. Okay, apparently all Andalites are really good at math. Alright. The time matrix is probably still outside the ship. How do you propose getting to it? We'll have to work together, Andalites, and quickly. Chapter 32. Work together. One of us has to be reeled outside on a rope or cable. Someone will have to hold the rope, and someone else will have to be on the end of that rope. And do what? Pull a timer through the hatch? I mean, losing all our air again. We don't have force fields anymore. Yes, it'll be do or die. Use the air hoods for emergency 5 minutes. I stare blankly at him. What air hoods? You forget I control Alron. This was his ship. I know all the ship's secrets. There's a small supply of emergency hoods. He kept them in for just such an occasion. I thought of that for a few seconds. When he said to cooperate with the Europe, what choice I have? Here are my terms. I go outside. You hold the rope. And when you reach a time which activate and disappear, leave me behind. No, I wouldn't leave Lauren. I mean, the humans. Search Alron's mind. He knows. You'll see it's true. He considered for a moment. Yes, it seems you're correct. Alron decided you had formed some pathetic feelings for this human female. But just in case you decide between me, email remind you I still have my tail. I can finish your friend slowly as we sink toward that black hole. It took a few minutes to tear out the cable, loosen the controls for a long lifeline. Even though I wouldn't weigh anything, I still had enough mass to break a 2-week line. True to his claim, he found 4 air hoods. They'd been stashed in each individual quarters. They were simple but effective models. Basically just clear plastic bags slipped over the head and tied to the neck. There's a small oxygen ball, very small. The hoods are rated for 5 minutes. To make the oxygen or gas was still a grease to keep the body from depressing in the vacuum of space. But after 5 minutes, my air would run out. The oxygen in my body would expand, bursting every blood vessel, rupturing my eyes. A painful death. I had not explained these details to Lauren. I tied the hood in place while Lauren put hers on. We tied one onto the still conscious Chapman, and they carefully tied a table around my tail. Ready? The visitor asked me. I'm ready, I said. You just worry about yourself, Yerk. The visitor laughed. Alron was so right about you. You're a moralizing, arrogant, weak-willed little fool. Lauren, I said we're going to open the hatch. Air rush out, we'll do it more slowly than before. So keep an eye on your fellow human. We don't want him sucked into space. We don't? She asked. I looked at her puzzled. Sarcasm, a type of humor. Okay, but is she being sarcastic, honestly, at this point? Like, the guy's literally betrayed them, like, 3-4 times? Or at least wanted to. I would have laughed, but I was just too scared. I lifted the hood and filled my lungs with cabin air. To replace the hood, turned on the oxygen nod to Visitor 32. The hatch can open. Everything would have been sucked into space already had been, so nothing much happened. It was sort of a breeze, then nothing. The hatch finished opening, but the cold was like a fist. It was like any plant driller could imagine. I stood in a doorway and stared into space. Below me, huge beyond my imagining, was a swirl of dust feeding a black hole. And the far edge of the swirl was a star. The star is being drained by a black hole. A huge, long arc plume of hot gas being drawn in. I hope there has not been planets around a star. I hope no sane species met its fate this way, torn apart by a space warping might of the black hole. I envisioned myself falling away free, falling into that black monster. I showed my head to clear the image. Focus, Elvingor. We're at the black hole if you fail. Not until then. I looked back on the axis of Jahar. Her elongated oval and free rakish engines and wonderfully long shredder spines still so potent. The ship spun in space, around a wobbly loop, disorienting if you've been through all the training for things like that. The swirl of dust and hot gas be overhead 1 second beneath me and next. Stars spun by overhead. I searched back on the ship for the time measures, but it wasn't there. Had it drifted away? Had the living asteroids taken it? Steadying myself as well as I could, I pushed off into space, aiming for the counter of the spin of the ship. There's always that spaceship now spun slowly beneath me, and the horizon from the far side like a moon coming over a planet was a time matrix. I see it. It's wedged in place by engine pylons, going after it. If you never tried to move in zero gravity, you have no idea how impossible it can be. You're floating weightless, no up or down, only push off against. If the cables were to break, I'd float forever just a few feet away from the ship. You'd never be able to move back on a tiny distance. But I'm well trained in zero gravity movement. I yanked slightly on the heel of my tail, drawing myself back toward the ship. I timed the impact carefully and tapped my 2 hooves in the hull just enough to change my direction. I floated back toward the engines, back toward a time matrix. It lay like an egg of some magically huge bird. 10 feet across, it lay neatly into a cradle by the engine pylon. Wait, it's 10 feet long? Holy shit, I thought it was like hand-sized. I drifted towards touching my arms, stiff and numb with cold. I touched it and stopped my momentum carefully so it wouldn't bounce off. My bare frozen hands touched a hard, smooth surface. Somehow it seemed to warm me. I felt heat glowing from my stiff fingers up toward the awkward arms. Now, how do I move you back to the hatch, I wondered. It's far too big to get my arms around. I could have used a cable to fashion a sling, and exactly 3 minutes before the hood ran empty and all of us were done for. I worked quickly, untying the cable around my tail before me to do a big loose on a cross brace. It wasn't much, but as secure as all I could do. Okay, I said, pull. The visitor pulled and slowly the time matrix with me holding on to one of the cable and is going to move toward the hatch. It's going to work, I tell myself. It's going to work. We're going to use the time matrix. The first living creatures used the dread machine for thousands and thousands of years. Chapter 35. We snugged the time matrix up against the hatch with air and time running out. Once more inside Jahar, I could see a suffering that Lauren had endured. The blended gas in the hoods was adjusted for Andalite bodies, not human. She was in pain from gradual decompression. She could barely stand. The visor stood, or at least floated. Well done, Andalite. 30 seconds left to activate this thing. Go ahead, Yerk. I said make your move. I saw coldness in his eyes, colder than the freezing cold of space. I knew I guessed right. He intended to eliminate me. One slash of his Andalite tail would finish me off. I was prepared and he knew. Which was to win a tail fight in zero gravity. He didn't know and neither did I, and there was no time left for mistakes. How does one turn this thing on? I wondered, looking at the half globe still half crammed in the hatchway. No visible instruments or control panels. Has to be a direct mind link with a physical interface. Laura moved her lips so speaking, but in the vacuum no sound be heard. Softly past hood, her lips had turned blue. Her eyes were fluttering. Touch, I said. The major response to touch. I think if we touch and form a little link, we can. The visitor moved, not to attack, press his hand on. He was trying to gain control before I could. I pressed my hand against the matron desperately, and searched her eye desperately for a link. What happened next is almost impossible to describe. Surely impossible to understand for someone who's not experienced it themselves. As I touched a time machine in search of my mind, the entire universe simply opened up. Like a piece of fruit that exploded into fragments. But that wasn't telling a millionth of it. Everything changed. Everything. The ship around me, the familiar Jahar, certainly not a vessel, but an amazing array of fragments, each twisted inside out and outside in, each piece connected by every other piece in insane ways no rational mind can make sense of. And around every piece of the ship there were stretched lines that curled and trolled through space, going back to the Taxon world, back to the Star Sword, and back to 1,000 other places all somehow visible. I could see every place the ship had been, as if each of those places were right here and a million miles away at once. But all the lines of the ship were dim and dull compared to the spectacle of living bodies around me. I saw Andalite body of Auron open up and split apart, transparent choices of every piece to be seen from every angle at once. I saw their living, beating hearts. I saw the muscles of the tail, the way the eyes are attached to the brain, for not from the outside, but inside. And in my horror, I saw the Yerk slug wrapped around Auron's brain, seeing every wrinkle and crevice, seeing deep between the four segments. I could literally see the flow of thoughts and emotions. I saw inside the slug that was Visitor 32, so the way his mind drew memories from Auron sent back orders. I saw and felt the impotent rage of Auron as he lay helpless in the Yerk's grasp. I know impossible is to really grasp all of this, but I saw in and through and around everything at once. I saw timelines stretching back from the Yerk and back from Auron. I saw their past, the horrible moment for those timelines intertwined, becoming one. I could see Auron's past in flash of wild action and emotion, the terrible moment when he stood amidst the whole battlefield slaughtered to Harbinger homeworld. I saw the ground piled high with Harbinger and Andalite dead. I saw a decision deep in his despairing brain to release the forbidden quantum virus. I felt his bitterness when even that evil measure had failed and Harbinger was lost. I saw the retreat from the shattered, beaten Andalite force. It was almost drowning from its assaulted data, as if I'd been plugged directly into every computer or built in almost all of them, or dumping information in my brain. I saw the timeline of the black hole itself. I saw it form from the explosive moment of the universe's birth and watch it condense and burn as a huge star. I saw it die and collapse, digging a hole into space itself. But amidst all that, I'm on the insides and outsides, all a passing connection about the will of Visitor 32. I felt him take hold of the time edges, about the Mitre respond, felt it turn to him. And in the Visitor's Yerk brain, I saw the image of Yerk homeworld. He was forming it clear and detailed. I saw the awful pools of the Yerks were born, but the adrenal rays that beat down from the Yerk's own strange sun. He was starting the time matrix, aiming it, telling to take him there to the Yerk homeworld. No! I focused my will in a weird universe I inhabit, saw my own living brain as it focused, constantly bringing more and more mental power to bear. I was watching my own brain work, watching my brain! I had taken control of the time matrix. I had to fight and resist the visitor. I summoned up an image in my head, but I was confused. Part of the Andalite world where I'd grown up, the trees, the grass, the sky, I mixed with images of others. I saw them flow up out of my own brain, saw them skim by three-dimensional pictures looking so flat and strange in this multi-dimensional universe. I saw my own hand on homeworld, but mixing with images of Earth, the pictures I'd seen, and somewhere far for us to see my body beginning to freeze, systems shutting down. I see inside fingers are frozen stiff, a tail that hung limp with all tension gone. My hearts are beating sluggishly. I was watching my own body die, weakening. The visitor too was hurt by cold. The Yerk itself down, Auron's head was still alert and strong. Slowly the balance shifted toward him, the images more and more of the Yerk homeworld, his images coming over mine like a tide. I was losing, falling as the cold shut down my body and reached tendrils of my mind, but then a new mind, alien but familiar. I saw Yerk jerk into alarm and surprise. A new force, this new mind was stronger than he could stronger than he could have expected. Lauren, I saw inside her and through her, saw her thoughts saw her push back the visible images, not defeating but keeping at bay. I realized something else that had changed. The black hole was further away. The Jahar could still be seen, but it too was further away. We were moving. The time I had been programmed, we were moving through time. The last memory I had as a cold collapse, my consciousness was something vast and incredible, a being unlike any I could have imagined. It saw me. It saw us all. And it laughed.